Hello, I want to welcome you to our update regarding BlissFizz. My name is Xavier Pearson, and I'd like to share with you what we've been working on in the last couple of months and get you excited about where we're going as a company. So the first thing I'd like to focus on is our mission statement. Our mission statement is this, that BlissFizz exists to make everyone's day just a little bit better by providing a delicious bubbly drink that promotes healing, health, and happiness with the natural power of CBD. We're committed to doing this successfully while being good stewards of our earth, our resources, and our people. Now, BlissFizz is a bubbly drink first and foremost. We also underpromise the benefits of the drink that are so numerous that I've mentioned before. By promoting that it has the ability to make the day only a little bit better. So remember, it's anti-inflammatory benefits and several other things that we've mentioned in earlier videos on our marketing website. Also, we do not position this as a medicine. We've learned from Honesty that it's important to appeal to the integrity issue that's in our market, and so we want to make sure that we put increasing importance on our integrity to our customers. And lastly, I want to reiterate in that mission statement that BlissFizz uses organic ingredients and sustainably sourced ingredients, which is a part of its marketing campaign and its product identity. So the next thing to mention is our mantra. Our mantra is that we want to help and hydrate. It encompasses our entire mission of the organization, and it advances the use of CBD as a mood enhancer, a healthcare supplement, and sustainable ingredients and ethics work together to give people this delicious drink. So the word help is very specific and can mean whatever it needs to that specific consumer. It also can mean whatever it needs to a target audience. It'll help our employees who work with the company to provide for their family and better world. It'll also help the consumer feel better, quench their thirst, and better the world. It's a win-win all around if you ask me. So that's our mantra. The next part that we want to discuss is our target city. Our target city is Asheville, North Carolina, and for those of you who are not familiar with Asheville, Asheville is located in the western region of North Carolina. It's one of the regional cities, I would say, of North Carolina. In Asheville, one of the things that we need to mention is that it has its own newspaper. The Asheville Citizen-Times is a long-standing paper, but it's affiliated now with the USA Network, so it gives it a far reach. So advertisements that go into the Asheville Citizen-Times also are posted on the USA Today Network website, and that gives us a marketing platform that's much larger than a local paper would alone. The next thing is that the radio situation there is that it's very eclectic. There's no specific radio station that I would say that's a leader. They all sort of lead in their own different ways, and a lot of them are in the same family of radio stations, so they're owned by larger conglomerates. But people still depend very heavily on those radio stations for news and updates and for the local music and local talent. Charlotte is very focused on its heritage as a separate city from other parts of North Carolina and other parts of the region, so it showcases natural and local talent very often on those radio stations. The marketing websites for those stations also give packages to new companies and to local companies that save on national brands where it comes to marketing. The next and final part of the target city that I'd like to talk about regarding advertising is billboards. So Charlotte being a city that unplugs, and by that I mean it's a city that's outside as much as it can be, Lamar dominates the billboard market. And up and down the several interstates in North Carolina, and specifically in Asheville's area, is I-26 and I-40. Those interstates are interchangeable in a lot of areas, and the Lamar company makes advertising very, very simple. They have package deals, but those advertisements can be digital. So they have digital billboards that tie into the web presence that can change. And so Lamar is going to be a strong partner that we use to advance CBD in the Asheville area. It will be a large targeted campaign where we focus on getting to our target market in the school areas and in university areas and shopping areas and malls, things of that nature. So the next thing about our target city I'd like to discuss is it's a culture that's focused on getting outdoors. So like I said earlier, it's got to be bohemian and eclectic and inclusive feel. It's home to the ever up and coming. There's several venues and attractions there like the Biltmore Estate, the Appalachian Trail. UNC Asheville is focused there, of course. And then there's a large brewery and pizza organization there that local mom and pop establishments have joined together as supporters, and they combined for different festivals, Asheville Pizza and Brewing being one of them and one of the higher ranked ones. Also, there's several fine dining establishments that focus on farm to table, like the Corner Kitchen, and we are going to make sure that we implement our drink in a way where it can be used in their establishments where they can feel the mutually beneficial relationship of serving that drink to the local public and to tourists. The next thing to talk about is our target customer. And so for our target customer example, I've chosen Kayla. Kayla actually lives in Asheville now. She is in her early 30s and she's engaged in cohabitating with her partner. Kayla also works in the henna and naturalist industry, and she has a bachelor's degree, is actually pursuing a master's. She describes herself as a flexitarian, meaning she doesn't eat meat at every meal. She's very food conscious and volunteers locally in food shelters and in the food market. She also describes herself as being a person who is a foodie, and so that's important because foodies tend to help us to make the market be better than it is by talking about quality of food and quality of drink. So she will give us feedback, especially online and in written form. The next thing to mention is that she is sleep deprived, and she talks about how the rat race of life has made her have a little bit more difficult time with getting things done through the day, and so she'd like a little more time, a little more rest, a little more relaxation. She's tried out essential oils and other herbal remedies that have not been as beneficial. They've helped, but have not been the cure-all, I guess, that she's looking for. I think it's also important to mention that her alcoholic beverage choices match that of several women her age in the demographic we're looking for, where she would drink a Moscato before drinking a red wine. Excuse me, that she chooses bubbly drinks and fizzy drinks like mimosas on her brunch outings with her friends, that she drinks fruity drinks and lighter drinks and drinks that don't have a high caloric intake. I think it's also important to note that she does want to have children, and this is important in our market because a lot of these folks are either moms or early moms or want to be moms. They're newlyweds, and they're just looking for a way to get that extra edge that's non-stimulant based, non-bad for you, in other words. And so getting rest is a part of that. I think as part of our target customers, our focus on that customer, we're going to look at how she shops. And so we feel like Kayla's representation that she is definitely into loyalty shopping. She likes rewards, but she likes them to be electronic. She likes online shopping. She shops online for several specific products that she can't get in her area because Asheville, being eclectic, also means that it doesn't have a lot of infrastructure as far as transit is concerned, and so things can cost more to ship there. And so she's careful about where she shops online. And then the last thing is her local grocers. She likes to support local grocers. Harris Teeter is a huge partner in North Carolina, as well as Lowe's Foods and Ingles. Ingles is based in Black Mountain, and it's the largest grocery store in the Asheville area, but they also have local mom and pop grocers, and so we're going to focus on making sure our distributors have partnerships with those local mom and pops so that they could have the drink in their stores. All right, so the next portion that I'd like to talk about is our SWOT analysis. In our SWOT analysis, the threats to the CBD market, the largest threat by far is the anti-CBD hemp and marijuana lobby. Those folks want that gone. They don't want people selling it. They don't want people smoking marijuana, so they feel like CBD is just lumped in there with it. Also, CBD's reputation is not clear. A lot of folks don't know that CBD is definitely different from marijuana. There's the limitations of the growing season. There's the taxation of the CBD market. That's a new thing in Congress, and so we are watching that play out and partnering and developing a political action committee to sort of mitigate the risk of losing our autonomy when it comes to how we grow CBD and things of that nature. The number of players in CBD is growing and increasing every day. Every pharmaceutical company wants a part of this market. They're trying to get involved in it. And the market's also very volatile. We feel like it's gone up, definitely, but we've seen some large changes and dips overnight at times that aren't always explainable. The opportunities that we have, there's a lack of cohesivity in this market right now. So there's not a lot of federal regulation as far as how we do things. We don't get a lot of established market folks coming telling us what to do, and so that there's no market leader. We don't have a Coke or Pepsi that's pushing us one way or the other. The opportunity also there is the growth of the industry. It's been a steady growth, even though it's been explosive. The long-term goal and trajectory of CBD has been really straight, kind of a diagonal up for the market. So the industry continues to grow, and then the return of investment on the investment in CBD is just tremendous. It's astronomical. So we feel like those are opportunities for us. Strengths of our company. So we are not limited by a brand history. We don't have anything to fix. Folks don't know that we've let them down because we haven't let them down before. We also have an unlimited flavor profile. We have a contractual evergreen partnership. So when our distributor, when it gets 5 years, we can continue to push that forward with our legal standing. As far as our brand awareness, that's one of our weaknesses. We don't have folks knowing who we are yet, but we're going to Bliss Visit up as much as we can so people will continue to learn who we are. Our niche market share is also a weakness. It's very specific folks who are open to CBD as a drink, but we want to grow that niche to be larger. And then the other thing is our limited distribution opportunities. Us being a smaller company, we are having to leverage our relationships a little bit better to get out there and as far as growing our brand to the distributors. So our competition is CBD, the Sprig soda. They are a first mover for sure, and they've been online, but in the market for about 5 years now. They use local distributors, which is a market option that we have chosen to do as well. They use Norman Distributing in Chicago and LA as a DSD provider. However, they also move into more mainstream areas across the country, and so they've worked with folks like Gold Coast in New York City, in the New York metro area, and then in Florida, they've worked with SAS Sales and Marketing to get their distribution there. And so we want to partner with even smaller local distributors so that they can benefit and that we don't feel like we're taking from Asheville, but also giving back to Asheville at the same time. They differentiate themselves by becoming very much like a soda. They look like a Sprite or Pepsi or a Coke or something in that can. And that's not something that we are choosing to do as our company grows. We're going to stay separate and differentiated with ours. So I feel like we're the better option when it comes to these sodas because our sustainability. We certainly work to make sure that we don't take from the earth, but we give back to it. The other thing is that we give a better value for our drink and our portions. We have very clear flavor profiles, and we locally source when it makes sense. Our organic ingredients definitely better in comparison to the very chemically laden Sprig soda. And then we have a lower sugar added content, so natural sugars are used much more often. And our shared ownership program is very unique to CBD. It's much like Ocean Spray Growers with its cranberry options. They have ownership in it and they get benefits as well as we do. So last but not least, we are also in a position to rule this industry. So our differentiation helps us, but we're also looking at our industry. And so this small area right here where it says other edibles, that includes us. So the tinctures market is starting to shrink a little bit. Folks are getting kind of tired of hearing all the different kinds of drops and drips that they can use. And other edibles is growing. So gummies is growing. Vape is also growing, but we're not going into vape. We're certainly this other edibles market, and we feel like we're going to take up a larger piece of the pie as CBD becomes more a home item, a thing that people are used to having in their homes. We feel like that our drink market can be coupled with the food and beverage industry, and that's something tinctures can't do. People don't go sit down at dinner and then take a bottle out and drop it into their food, but they will purchase a drink that has that already in it. We feel like we're well priced and well marketed and also well positioned in competition with what we've seen in our position analysis is that our price point is very good. We're in the sweet spot for where we want to make the most money. We're not seen as too healthy of a company, so we don't want to be so healthy that we're seen as a medicine. We want to make sure we differentiate that we are a food, that we're a drink. And this brings me to the end of my BlissFizz update. I've been so happy to share with you and look forward to giving you guys more information in the future. Thanks and take care.